two of them. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. And there's contact between Cheryl Powell and Campbell Pilling. Well, good morning everyone and welcome to the 7th and final round of the 2022 Daniel Ricciardo Series. We are just north of Grantham here, deepest, darkest Lincolnshire, here at the Fulbeck race circuit. A fitting venue, technical, twisty, a good mix of fast straights and tight corners, and it all will play host to 3 brand new Daniel Ricciardo Series champions for 2022, and the championship point standings couldn't be much closer either. We'll take you through those as we navigate our way through the qualifying sessions this morning.
Thank you. Point, thank you. Your cap off, please. You can do that point.
So the DRS
I don't want to touch them until I've
100s are on the dummy grid ready, and what you can see on your screen at the moment is some fuel testing. So as part of our continuous quality assurance, part of our ensuring that we have a complete level playing field for all of these drivers, several checks are undertaken by the technical team, by the scrutineers, and part of that is fuel tests. So using some very snazzy technology, the scrutineers will just dip that little probe into fuel tanks and just make sure there's no additive in there, make sure there's nothing in there that could give an advantage to drivers. And it'll just give them a reading, give the officials a reading of what the fuel is recording for the scrutineers. I think he looks happy with it, doesn't he? Hello, Daniela, giving us a quick wave on screen there. Daniela Sutton. There was loads of trends with fuel, wasn't there, over the years? There was times where you'd all sit on the grid and take your fuel caps off, so they just, whatever was in them could evaporate. There's all kinds of stuff happened over the years with regards to fuel. When there was suspicion, they used to let drivers go out and then stop, then red flag it, then make them take the fuel caps off. All kinds of stuff. Fascinating stuff. Everyone's very jolly down there on the DRS100 grid at the moment. Everyone's waving and all very happy to be here. We'll be scrapping with each other in about 3.5 minutes. So big grid as always from our DRS100s. It's fair to say, I think, that they've given us the best entertainment, haven't they? They give us the closest racing, the DRS100s. And I don't expect this to be any different at all. Let's have a look at the championship, because there is still a battle to be had here. Maximilian Salarski has come into this final race with a decent points advantage over Freddie Cox. He's got, what's he got? Just about 17 points between the two of them. But a 17-point swing is not inconceivable. There's some other drivers that aren't a million miles away as well. Charlie Ratford's only another 5 points behind, so 22 points for Charlie Ratford that he has to overcome to win the championship here this weekend as well. A little gap back then to James Kochelek and Tristan Powell and Bryn Calder. But stranger things have happened. So the focus initially is just to see what happens with Salarski and just to see whether, there he is, the number 3. As we see some last minute adaptations to tyre pressures from the 151 of Ruby Smith. There is Freddie Cox, second in the championship. You'd expect he'll go on the attack, won't you? He'll have to, really. He'll have to go on the attack in some of the heats and the grand final, potentially. And final rounds of championships do lend themselves to high drama because the stakes become high. Drivers know they have to now take risks. It becomes a little bit do or die. So let's see what we get from the DRS100. Let's see how the land lies at the end of this qualifying session first. They're due out in about 2 minutes' time. All those scrutineering checks have now been done. There is the number 5 of Henry Foote, 8th in the championship at the moment. Wonder how many of them will be straight out onto circuit, or how many will just hang on. They're all really well spread out on the dummy grid, aren't they? There's almost 2 or 3 dummy grids being used there by the DRS100 drivers. Just preparing themselves for 10 minutes in which they need to put in the best possible lap they can, the fastest possible lap they can. A full grid of DRS100 drivers. Remember, in the previous rounds, you've seen them all separate, haven't you? You've seen them in an A and a B group. But because of the numbers now, at round 7, we can bring them all together for a grandstand finish, a great finale to this Daniel Ricciardo Series Championship. So just a few seconds then before they get underway. Championship battle looks to be between 3. Solarski, the number 3, Freddie Cox, the DRS player, and Charlie Ratford, the number 8. But there could be some twists and turns here. All the drivers on the slick tyres. Weather remains dry. We said there was a chance of a shower around about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Rain still expected at 2 o'clock. Well, at 2 o'clock, the DRS62s will probably just be out for their grand final. Could make it interesting. So out they go then. As usual, Solarski just holds on. So they're all out. We've got one over the grass here already. That's the 161 of Ben Hoy. So Solarski, and then the 150 of Kotchalek. They're not going to come out to play just yet. They are now. So they didn't wait very long, did they? They waited 40 seconds just to give themselves some clean air, but Kotchalek just jumped on the back of Solarski and said, right, if you're going to go, you can just pull me around for a couple of laps and let's see how we get on together. So the early pace setters just putting in their first flying laps. It's Freddie Cox who's put the fastest of the out laps in. Don't read too much into that. Let's see how it develops over the next few minutes here. We'll start to get an indication of who has the early pace. Got 8 minutes. Another wonderful shot there of this. It's an old air base, isn't it? An old military base here at Fulbeck. But it's been a circuit that's hosted many British Championships, many British Championship finales. I won one and lost one here. 1999 and 2001. Oh, a long time ago, isn't it? But the circuit hasn't changed, it's fair to say. It's fairly coarse, fairly It is a little bit of a bumpy ride here at Fulbeck, has to be said. You can see the drivers' heads moving, and the curbs here can be fairly rough as well, certainly on the exit of a couple of corners. This one here on the exit of turn 2, that's pretty rough. And the one that comes down into 5 on the exit of 5 as well has thrown many a chain off. This is where the Ratford's just heading down to now. He's just slipped past Freddie Cox. That won't have done either their lap times any good this time round. So 3 flying laps completed for pretty much everyone, and the early pace setter is Henry Foote. So the number 5, who's just been displaced by Charlie Ratford. So me saying that Charlie Ratford overtaking Freddie Cox would do his lap time no good. He's then produced the fastest lap of the session so far. So Ratford, Foote and Calder, Kochelek, Sherry-Ann Powell. Decent start to her morning's work, up into 5th place. Daniel Sutton just behind in 6th, then Salarski. So then, 3 laps completed. Championship leader Salarski down in 8th place. It's not where he will have expected to be, I'm sure. He'd go out a little bit later than everyone else, but he's going to need to find a little bit of pace, isn't he? There is Charlie Ratford, just coming up against a little bit of traffic here. And he crosses the line. He dispatches the traffic with the minimum of fuss. And he does another fastest lap, 46.8 for Charlie Ratford. Henry Foote, 2nd fastest. Tristan Powell, 3rd. Then Cox, and then Salarski. So Cox needs to take as much out of Salarski as he can here. Just finishing ahead of Maximilian Salarski in this qualifying session will be a good start for Freddie Cox. It'll also be an excellent start for Charlie Ratford. At the moment, he is claiming some of these 23 points back over the front 2. Interesting stuff. Every class giving us a story here. And is that Sherry-Ann Powell? I think it is Sherry-Ann Powell on the way out of turn 5, parked up on the exit. So Sherry-Ann Powell, 8th fastest, will not be going any faster though, as she will not complete the rest of this qualifying session. So Ratford, Kochelek, Salarski up to 3rd then, ahead of Henry Foote, Tristan Powell, and importantly ahead of Freddie Cox. Freddie Cox is going to need some sort of response here, isn't he? Can't really afford to lose more time to Salarski as Foote goes fastest again. 46.7 for Henry Foote. The times are tumbling here, going faster every single lap. Somebody goes quicker of these DRS100s. The tyres start to work for them. The setup starts to come to fruition. And it's Charlie Ratford then who responds quickly back up into the lead of this qualifying session. Cox then 2nd. So Freddie Cox, we said he needed a response to try to keep Max Salarski at bay. He's done that. Freddie Cox up to 2nd fastest, his fastest lap of the session so far. 46.5 for Freddie Cox. What has Salarski got? Salarski's losing points here. He's going to lose points to the 2 that are chasing him, both Ratford and Cox. This will come down, this championship lead, unless he can find a response. He's 5th fastest at the moment, as Cox goes fastest. Freddie Cox then, 46.3 for Freddie Cox on his 8th lap. Ratford 2nd, Kochelek 3rd fastest, then Foote, then Salarski. This could very much change the dynamic of this DRS100 championship. One qualifying session could make all the difference here. We're into the final 3 minutes of this final qualifying session of the season for the DRS100s. Cox, Ratford, Kochelek, Foote, Salarski. Then Bryn Calder, then Tristan Powell, then Daniela Sutton. Sherry-Ann Powell, 9th fastest now. Kai Newman is 10th. Cassidy Southall is the first of the rookie drivers in 11th. Then Daniel Weir and Isaac Kite. Then Oscar Walmsley-Jones, Maximilian Reed and Ben Hoy as Cox consolidates his fastest lap with a 46.5. Ratford 2nd fastest. There's only 0.03 of a second between them. There's never much between them, is there? Never much between the DRS100 drivers. So Freddie Cox at the moment, penalty for Tristan Powell as well by looking at my timing screen. So Henry Foot 5th, Salarski 6th fastest. He's going to need something, isn't he? He's 4/10 off the pace here, the championship leader. It's not a day for championship leaders at the moment, is it? As Ratford goes fastest, just inch 0.02 of a second quicker than Freddie Cox. That's how close it is. 400ths back to Kochelek, then Tristan Powell, then Henry Foot, then Max Salarski. What's going through the mind of the number 3, the championship leader? Had a little bit of a buffer. That buffer is going to reduce here. The other danger for Salarski is he puts himself back into a pack of drivers. At the start of races, you go into a pack, you run the risk of an incident, of a collision, of contact. Ratford and Cox and Kochelek and Powell, Foot and Salarski. Daniel Sutton is 7th fastest, then Brink Calder is 8th. We're running out of time now, aren't we? A little look at track position. Where is Salarski out there? Has he got a little bit of clean air? Just trying to locate him on the circuit at the moment. Salarski just about to come through. He has just come through and completed another lap. Hasn't gone any faster though. Still 6th fastest. He's got a little bit of clean air between himself and the drivers in front. He's probably going to get, well, he'll get one more lap at this, won't he? This is his final lap. So Salarski's going to have to pull something out of the bag here. Certainly not at panic time, but it would make his day a whole lot easier if he could find a little bit of pace. Can he pull something out of the bag? The flag is out. So then, final flying lap. Powell's completed his 4th fastest. Won't go any better than 4th for Tristan Powell. Here come the group that includes Ratford. There's Salarski. What's he got? Goes 1 faster, so he goes up to 5th. Salarski did do his fastest lap of the session. In fact, he's only a 1/10 of a second, or 2/10 of a second slower than Ratford. But all the way down in 5th. Kochelek then, the only other driver who's on a flying lap at the moment. Where is he? The 150 of James Kochelek. Has he come through? Not yet. I'm just looking down below us to see where he is. Is he in the paddock? Is he coming to the pits? Yeah, looks like it. Looks like he abandoned that last lap. Challenge from him. So Ratford, Cox, Kochelek, Powell, Salarski, Foot. Top 6. What impact does that have from a championship perspective? Well, it certainly means that Charlie Ratford has closed the gap between himself and 2nd place Freddie Cox, just about, and also closed the gap certainly to Maximilian Salarski. Salarski will have lost points here. I don't think he'll have lost the full 17 that he had in terms of the championship lead, and of course he may be able to drop that score as well. Certainly adds to the drama though, doesn't it? These 3 have certainly come closer, the top 3 in the DRS100 class. And that is the end of qualifying. That's the last qualifying session of the season then. Won by Charlie Ratford, who was the fastest of the DRS100 drivers, a 46.352. So now we're on to a heat, for each of the classes. The first of those, the DRS62s, on circuit at 11:05, and we'll be back with you then.
Not tired, haven't qualified. Oh, your cart is heavier.
Yeah.
It's squeaky.
So the DRS100s are on the dummy grid, ready for their first heat. Interesting story here in terms of the championship, isn't it? That Selarski, the championship leader, just will have lost a few points from that qualifying over from Charlie Ratford and from Freddie Cox. What we do know is that there is not many better in the Daniel Ricciardo Series at picking your overtaking manoeuvres than Max Selarski, so I'm sure he's not too worried about this. Well, it does mean that he's in a pack of drivers where you can't always control the uncontrollables. So I'm sure Selarski will be wary of the threats around him. And Ratford and Cox, I suppose the best thing they could do is just not squabble over each other and get themselves as far away from the rest as they possibly can, and then they can make the decision about how much risk they want to take to try and win the race come the closing stages. They've got 8 minutes and a lap here to sort themselves out. We've got a lunch break after this race until 12:50 when the DRS62s are back on circuit and we get to the business end of the day. Eight-minute plus a lap pre-finals, 12-minute plus a lap main finals, grand finals for us. So this could be very interesting indeed then. Ratford, Cox, Selarski, Powell, Sutton, Walmsley, Jones, Calder, Foot, Kochelek, Sherian, Powell, all very capable. We know they've all got the ability to win races in DRS100. And a lot of them with not a lot to lose here. Could make for very interesting racing indeed. They always throws up some classics, don't they? Always races you don't want to take your eyes off. The DRS100 is about to start their first heat of the weekend. Will it be Ratford or Cox into the first corner first? That's the question. They played safe, did they take a risk? So many subplots, so many stories within the story. Here they come then. Will they go first time? I'm looking at the lights. They do go first time. Ratford then and Cox. 1 and 2, it's a drag race. Ratford's got the best of it. Cox hasn't got a good start at all. He's going to try and go around the outside now. He does a good job actually, Freddie Cox, and putting himself back into good position. In fact, he's done an excellent job because he's now alongside. He didn't get the best of the starts off the line. He's going to get caught by Selarski. Is he just caught on the outside? He didn't get the best of starts, then went right round the outside of everyone, and now there's a mistake from the 150 of Kochelek as well. And there's carnage in behind. There's all kinds of problems with carts spun round and just rejoining through the second chicane. And while we were looking at all that as penalty for Kochelek, while we looked at all that, guess who's ended up at the front of the field? Maximilian Selarski then has picked his way through all of the chaos in the first couple of corners and leads. So he's taken all that trouble that he had in qualifying. He's made it stick. Brink Calder with a huge handful of understeer on the first corner, by the way. That was why he was a little bit slower. And then Ratford and Cox went drag. Oh, Kochelek's gone through the escape road. It's a lap penalty, is it? It is a lap penalty. It's always been the case at here at Fulbeck. You miss the chicane, you lose a lap. You effectively adopt a lap. So Kochelek's race is effectively over, despite him being in the field. He will receive a penalty, a lap penalty, for going through the bus stop chicanes. You cannot miss these bus stop chicanes at Fulbeck. The penalty is just too high. Now then, What sort of pace has Charlie Ratford got to get back on terms with Salarski? Salarski's made a wonderful start. What a first couple of corners he put together, picked his way through the trouble to hit the front. Now then, can he maintain it? Has Ratford got the pace to get back on terms? The overcast day here. There's a little bit of blue sky to the top end of the circuit, but the rest of it looks pretty cloudy. I'll give us a weather check in a minute as well in terms of if we are likely to see any rain still this afternoon. No, the weather check has changed, so that 2 o'clock shower that we expected, it's now gone back to 4 o'clock. We're expecting the sun to come out this afternoon. What a fitting change in the weather as we see Henry Foote over the rumble strip. He's lucky they didn't throw a chain off, isn't he? Got airborne as he came out of turn 2. So 4 karts in the battle for the lead. Salarski, Ratford, Cox and Powell. 3 of them, the first 3, absolutely in this championship challenge. So I suppose the one with the least to lose is Tristan Powell in 4th pace. Kochelecki is still showing his 5th, but we know he's going to receive a penalty. So Henry Foote is 5th, Calder 6th, Daniela Sutton 7th, Oscar Walmsley-Jones is 8th, Archie Cole 9th, Kai Newman 10th, Sharian Powell is 11th. So the distance between Ratford and Salarski on mechanical for Kochelecki as well. I wonder what that's for. Let me have a quick look if I can see as he goes over through the second chicane. So 130 and 150. So Kochelecki will receive one of those flags. Let me just see if I can find him. So yeah, James Kochelecki then. So Kochelecki will have to come in the next lap. His race was really ruined anyway because he'd missed the chicane on the first lap. So here is the battle. Now 4 minutes to go here. What's going through the mind of Charlie Ratford? And we've got yellow flags at the top of the circuit as well. So what's happened there? So we've got a driver, a kart stranded on the exit. The driver's on the inside of the circuit, absolutely safe. But they're about to come to that part of the circuit now. And we've got full course yellow right then. Everyone slows down to full course yellow. Now that will bring everyone together. So the front 5 are going to come right together here. Salarski will dictate the pace. It plays into the hands of Henry Foote, who moves up onto the back of Tristan Powell for 4th and 5th. Everyone will group together. We've got, what's left on the time? 3 minutes. So the karts at the top of the circuit have just been recovered at the top of the circuit on the exit of turn 2. Drivers on the inside absolutely fine. Can't see the number of that car. It's a little bit far away from us to see who that is. Oh, there it is. The 156. So the 156. Oh, it's Archie Cole. So Archie Cole, who was right in the mid-pack, I think he was running about 15th at the time. Kochelecki as well has come into the pit, so everyone moves up a place courtesy of his departure from the race. So this could give us a really hectic finish, couldn't it? Salarski will dictate the pace. We've got 2.5 minutes to go here. I think they'll go green next time round, but they've still got half a lap to go before they get there. So who gets the best jump? So Salarski leads. Will Ratford try and... I mean, he can get alongside him, can't he? He can get alongside him as they come to the line, as long as he's not ahead. How does Ratford play this? He's got to try and get a little bit of a jump on Salarski. He could then pinch him into the first chicane. He has the option to do that, as long as his nose isn't past him. So they could go side by side along the start-finish straight, and Ratford, I'm sure, will know that. Salarski's got to try and play this clever. Got to try and get into that first chicane in the lead if he can. Here they come then, over the line. Has he got it right? Well, he's right there, Ratford. Salarski's going to defend in the chicane. They are going to bunch right up, so this could be interesting into turn 2. What sort of a run does Ratford get? He's alongside, tries to get shoved by Salarski, but Ratford's got the inside line, and here comes Cox as well. Cox to the inside. They're going to try and shove Salarski to the outside. They have done. Radford then leads. They made a good restart, didn't they? As Salarski tries to go down the inside of Cox, doesn't get any joy through there. We've got a yellow flag as well. We've got a yellow flag and a car in the barriers. You can just see it propped up on the barriers. I think both drivers are safe. We've got full course yellow again. Full course yellow again. Because of that incident into the first chicane. Well, both drivers look okay, don't they? I think both drivers are out of the kart. We've got a kart that is, well, it shouldn't be facing that way, let's be honest. Let's see if we've got a replay in the back. So look at the background, there's the contact between those two drivers. It's just sort of pitched upwards. I think the drivers are okay. They'll obviously be checked by the medics here. Now then, who does this play into the hands of? So Radford now leads the race. Cox is second. They got the jump over Max Salarski, didn't they? So the drivers involved. The 160 is Freddie Farrell, so he was one of the drivers involved. Is Eldon Holland the other one? I think it possibly could be. So what do we do now? We've gone red. So we've gone red. Right then. So that's, and I thought that's then going to come back a lap. So will that mean that the current, so the result will be as it is now, I imagine, which will be Radford then who wins the race. So they'll come back to the start of the previous lap, which Radford was leading. So Radford is going to win. Oh, it might go back another lap. Oh, this could be interesting. How's this going to pan out? I suppose it depends if they got through a lap under the full course yellow before the red came out. So this will be very provisional. This will take someone picking by Sam and Matt. Matt, the clerk of the course, and Sam, the timekeeper here in race control. So they're the two scenarios, aren't they? The two scenarios are, did they get a full lap under full course yellow? If they did, oh, we've got a little crash coming into the pit lane as well. From the 131, I think that was. So Isaac Kite just pitching it into the barriers on the way out. Now, I'm not quite sure. We've just got to work out. There'll be a bit of working out here. So when the red went out, so did it go out when the lap had been completed? If that's the case, Charlie Radford will win the race. Freddie Cox will be second. Salarski will be third. If it hadn't have come out by then, if they hadn't completed a lap, it might go to the lap before, which was probably the restart of the first full course yellow. So it sounds very complicated, and there's a bit of unpicking to do. But lots happening, isn't there? Lots of great entertainment for those tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, for those that are live here watching the race unfold here at Fulbeck. 3 excellent heats, it has to be said. We will now move to a break. We'll be back live on your stream at just before 10 to 1, where we start our pre-finals. Remember, 3 new champions to be decided today. We've got a pre-final and a final for each of our 3 classes. You do not want to miss the action this afternoon. We will come back to you later on today following the lunch break. We will see you then. Action on circuit at the moment, and we've none planned for the next few minutes at least. We are just awaiting a recovery from an incident from the last heat of the day. So one of the drivers who's just receiving some medical attention following the conclusion of that last DRS100 race, which means that we are now awaiting the start of the pre-finals. Obviously, with any motorsport event, first of all, the safety of all the participants is at the forefront of everything that we do. Secondly, we need to ensure that we have the correct ambulance coverage for any motorsport event at any race circuit, and we're just waiting for that to be resolved, and then we can hopefully get back underway. So we do have a delay at the moment. We can't give you an indefinite timescale for when we will be back racing here at round 7 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series, but we're hoping that it will be within the, well, certainly in the not too distant future. So we will come back to you in due course, but at the moment, as previously stated, our racing is suspended whilst we await the required medical coverage at the circuit. And as soon as we have an update, we'll come back with you and share that as quickly as we can.
So is mine, I can see next door.
Oh, here's a big one then.
Yeah,
Here's where the carnage starts.
yeah, we need to get this one done.
Oh yeah, DRS completely spun out on his own there. Tried to take it too quick.
your legs. You'd have had the mechanical flag, you would have had to come in anyway. Well, that you'll have to talk to the clerk. Okay? Not got nothing to do with me, it's because it's come in non-compliant, I've got to deal with it. You just come in under the second flag. Alright? You come in under the flag.
Come on. You ain't getting tighter. Too loose.
Okay, everybody. Race director Matt Daniels has concluded due to the time and fading light. That will be the conclusion of the meeting. That means that the results for today will be calculated from your points in qualifying, your points in the first heat, and your points from the pre-final heat that just ran. That will give your position for the grand final, which had it took place, where you would have started. So where you would have started will be your finishing position for today's event. Some good news we've heard from the hospital that Freddie Farrell has been released after checks, so that's good news. We're still waiting to hear any news about Cassidy. So that concludes today's events. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Obviously it was outside our control.
Sorry, your dad's really upset.
And we'll let you know in a few minutes' time the time for the presentation, where we'll give out today's trophies. Thank you. All right. Okay, everybody, that brings a close to today, to round 7, and the final round of our championship. Congratulations to everybody. It's been a difficult day. Obviously, driver safety is paramount for us, and we had 2 drivers injured today, which caused the suspension of racing. One driver's been released from hospital, Freddie Farrell. He's on his way home, and Cassidy Southall has had checks and is okay too. So a round of applause for those 2 guys. So as you know, today it wasn't possible to complete the grand final. So these results are reflected from the points from each driver's qualifying. The first heat, and the heat pre-final, which everybody completed. So therefore, those points amalgamated together would give the starting position for the grand final, except obviously that didn't happen today. So these results are where you would have started for the final and form the basis of the podium presentation today. First of all, we're going to look at DRS62 Academy. And in third place today, we have number 55, Lucas Esser. Well done, Lucas. Little picture. Okay. And in second place today, we have number 105, Ashton Redpath. Well done, Ashton. Well done. And your DRS62 Academy winner today is number 124, Dorian Malik. Well done, guys. Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, your DRS Academy podium. So moving on now to DRS62 Super. The points today put number 5, Nat Johnson in third. Well done, Nat. In second place today, it's DRS Jack Robinson. Well done, Jack. And in first place today, number 3, DRS62 Super Oscar Walsh. Your DRS62 Super podium. Thank you, guys. So now we're moving on to the DRS125, the senior. And your top Masters driver today is DRS Firaz Bilbaisi. Well done, Fraz. In third position today, number 325, Ethan Critchley. Do you want that? You forgot the trophy. And in second place today, number 5, Oliver Owen. Well done, Ollie. Well done. And first position today is number 1, Sam Faulkner. Your DRS125 podium, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, last but not least, the DRS100, the junior category. Our top rookie today is number 114, Archie Potter. Well done, Arch. Well done. Moving on to your top three. In third position today, number 5, Henry Foote. Well done, Henry. In second place today, DRS Freddie Cox. Well done, Freddie. And in first place today, number 3, Max Salaski. Well done, Max. Oh. Your DRS100 podium for today, everybody. Thank you very much. So that concludes our presentation for today. So we will be all awarding our champions at our DRS trophy presentation, which will be announced in a date in January. So we look forward to having a fantastic evening and crowning all the champions with their trophies for this season. Thank you very much for all your support, and we'll see you next year.